the Clippers put up a really, really good fight against the Suns in the Western Conference Finals. No Kawhi the entire series. Paul George silenced a lot of people who were calling him out. Terrence Mann showed that he's part of the future. Reggie Jackson played himself into a nice contract. I guess, assuming Kawhi comes back 100%, which I think is probably a safe assumption, and having Paul George there, I don't know if you get Ibaka, like Ibaka's on a player option. I'm sure coming off his surgery, he's going to be accepting that.
Accepting that, yeah.
Like, what is there? Is it just minor tweaks around the core, like letting Terrence Mann play more? Do you bring back Reggie Jackson? Like, there's a couple decisions you got to make there.
So key one, re-sign Kawhi at all
Well, yeah,
possibilities, because you're gonna have a lot of suitors for him. And key two, Kawhi's probably gonna have some type of demand, and he keeps it very locked down because we never knew he wanted Paul George till that signing thing happened, right? So you probably have to fulfill that Kawhi demand, which might be getting a point guard, getting whatever, to sign Kawhi, and you have to do it because you traded all your picks to get those guys. So get to Kawhi's demand, get Kawhi back, and then try to re-sign Reggie Jackson and Nick Batum for the minimums or whatever you can, the most you can offer them, because those guys were huge for you. Terrence Mann is a restricted or he's up for extension, so you're going to bring him back 100%.
Yeah.
Serge Ibaka, like 98% is going to opt into his player option because he just came off surgery. Zubac is still going to be there. Morris is still going to be there. Pat Bev, all these contracts, Luke Kennard, all these contracts and money are still going to be there. Maybe combine a couple of those. We've seen Kemba Walker being linked to them. We've seen Russell Westbrook being linked to them or in the Lakers. So if Kawhi really wants a PG, one of those guys
Kyle
probably
Lowry,
fills that suit.
maybe.
Yeah, hopefully the Raptors don't do that because I'm gonna be pretty sad to see Kyle Lowry, Kawhi Leonard, and
Serge Ibaka.
Serge Ibaka win another championship. But it might happen. I hope it doesn't, but it might happen. Yeah, so get that PG in there, re-sign Kawhi, bring back your bench guys, and moving Reggie Jackson, Nick Batum, Terrence Mann all to the bench after they just had such a good playoff series. Like your bench is gonna be back to the Clippers bench that was so solid.
Yeah.
Lou Williams is also another name to look out for. We know he loves LA. I know he just got traded out there, so he might not sign there. But he did great things for the Atlanta Hawks, so he's gonna get some team's gonna sign him. So just watch out for him as well.
Yeah, it basically comes down to keep Kawhi, keep Paul George, who Paul George isn't all Paul George is a top 15 player in the NBA. Like he has some bad games, but Paul George is like good enough to be the second best player on a championship team, I think. And I think Ty Lue has to have like a lot more respect as like one of the very best coaches in the NBA. He knows his team. He makes more adjustments probably in this one playoffs than any coach. And I think with a coach like him, with Kawhi and Paul George, with a potentially really deep bench that showed that they can play winning basketball in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the Clippers could be like a top tier, top 2-3 championship favorite going into next year without any major tweaks. Like obviously bringing a Kyle Lowry if that's what Kawhi wants. Westbrook, if that's what he wants, even if you don't think it's going to fit, you have to do it. But
the thing with Kawhi, even if you have a good regular season, he's going to look to the future. Yeah. He's going to recognize that the Nets are going to be healthy. The Lakers are going to be healthy. The Warriors are going to make a push and get better.
Yeah.
He's going to realize that because he won a championship with the Raptors, and he literally told them, "You're not going to win again with the same core."
Yeah.
Like he literally said, "Trade for PG and Westbrook if you want to win." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's going to look for the future, and I think he is going to make a big demand, like get a Kemba Walker, Russell Westbrook, or Kyle Lowry, or maybe even a DeMar DeRozan. Someone who's really good at playmaking and scoring. So we're going to see a big change for this Clippers team because that's who Kawhi Leonard is.
Yeah.
He's going to do it all behind the scenes. The front office is going to catch a lot of slack for it from fans because fans are going to be like, we just made the conference finals without two of our starters and we just pushed them to 6 games, you know what I mean? And we could have pushed them to 7 games if PG didn't have a horrible free throw shooting like that one night. But you know what I mean? That's who Kawhi Leonard is. He's a really a real person, you know what I mean? Like he's going to recognize the injuries. He's going to make that heavy push and expect a big change, expect a point guard. Kemba, Russell Westbrook, Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan. Expect one of those guys to be a Clipper.
Yeah, especially because the Clippers have so many movable contracts like Morris, Kennard, Like those Pat Bev, really nicely sized contracts to get trades like that done. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here so you never miss the best clips from Stretch the Floor. Hit the links in the description below to find us on all podcast platforms, and follow us on Instagram.